Good morning, Bix Weir, roadtoruta.com. Your morning horn of Z's, your sip of coffee. Um, so much to talk about. Don't know where to start. Took the weekend off. Um, Posted one thing, but didn't really look at much. And then I wake up on Monday morning and we got all this excitement. As every week. It's funny, the cryptos, they usually don't do well on the weekends. And then Monday starts another good week when they're in bear territory, when they're not being rigged and manipulated every day. Interesting about what's going on between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. As some of us have speculated since the fight began against, between SegWit and Bitcoin Core and all that stuff, Bitcoin Cash, I believe, ultimately will be more valuable than Bitcoin, which is huge because that means as a percentage gain, it's going to do a lot better. Bitcoin Cash is in line with what Satoshi wanted. And those of you on the road to Ruta, go to roadtoruta.com and you can go to the Friday road trip this week. And it is the Satoshi remote viewing session. And the full road to Ruta analysis and how does it line up with my analysis. And it really did expand my understanding that Satoshi is not about, it's not about Bitcoin necessarily. It's not about the white paper necessarily. It's about a plan that goes back decades. Really cool stuff. If you're interested, go to roadtoruta.com and hit subscribe today. But definitely between Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash is more in line with Satoshi's original white paper, a peer-to-peer currency. And that's, I mean, it's really not much more complicated than that. And those who want Bitcoin locked up as the ultimate gold, as a store of value, have Bitcoin. And I'm sure you'll do fine with Bitcoin. I'm more interested in the peer-to-peer cash aspects. I'm not interested in locking up any money. I want to use my cryptos out there in the world. So I think that's why Bitcoin Cash will do a lot better than Bitcoin as in a percentage type of which goes up the highest. Obviously, Bitcoin is right now almost $9,000, and Bitcoin Cash is $1,400. But in the past week or so, Bitcoin Cash has risen. Well, let's take a look. View all on CoinMarketCap. You can check this out. Bitcoin Cash over the last 7 days has risen 10%. I mean, Bitcoin has risen 11%. Bitcoin Cash has risen 86%. Now, all the core guys, the core Bitcoin guys, the Bitcoin maximalists, meaning Bitcoin only Bitcoin, usually those people, the reason they're so adamant about Bitcoin and nothing else is because it was hard enough for them to understand Bitcoin, much less all the altcoins. But hey, let's not go there. Clearly, Bitcoin Cash is kicking some serious butt right now, up 86% in 7 days. They'll say, "Oh no, it's Roger Ver and it's the Chinese market riggers that are just bringing it up, and it's a pump and dump." I don't know. I don't know, and I don't care. Uh, I don't think it is. I think it's more the good guys saying, "Hey, Bitcoin Cash is what Satoshi wanted. Bitcoin is a store of value like gold, but if you want gold, just buy gold and hold gold." But we'll see. We'll see what happens in that situation. Bitcoin has become less useful, and by choice. They want to lock it up. I don't think. I don't think. I think I agree with Cliff that I don't think Lightning Network is going to change anything because Bitcoin doesn't want that kind of exposure. They don't want different points where it can be attacked. And with the Lightning Network, you're gonna see attacks. It's kind of like EOS. Everybody says, "Oh, EOS is the Ethereum killer." It's an untested platform. It's going to get attacked left and right, and it's going to struggle, and it's going to fail, and then be rebuilt, and just like Ethereum when it was starting up. So, long way to go. Lots of hopes and wishes and dreams everywhere, and ultimately, at the end of the day, I think if you have a good portfolio of some good cryptos going forward, you're not going to care who wins the battle between which goes up more in price. Um, I think everybody will do well, but there are dogs you need to stay away from, and the dogs are pretty much they come to the surface over time. So just keep an eye out for that type of stuff. Ethereum is, it's been beat up a lot, I think, by the EOS group who's selling Ethereum to buy EOS. I think that's the biggest reason for what's going on there. They claim no, and all the staunch supporters claim no, they aren't doing that. But hey, dog eat dog world of cryptos, of course they're going to do that. At least the price has clearly said that, shown that, because Ethereum's way down and EOS is way up. No, it's not because it's a superior technology. It's an unproven technology. But that's neither here or there. Again, I don't want to. There's no reason to fight which is better. They're all good. They're all good. They're all better than the old system. That's for sure. No, they aren't all good. Like BitConnect was not good, so we jumped up and down about it and had the right to jump up and down. The other stuff we're just fighting over which is better, which is fine. Some of the ones I think we need to keep an eye on now, I would say, is Amizigo, OMG. Definitely we need to keep an eye on that. I think that's going to be a big monster this year. And it's funny because, a lot of this stuff is controlled. So you'll see a coin that you're sure, like Litecoin, I'm sure it's going to go crazy, and yet it's kind of under control. Slow and steady wins the race. I guess that's good because you don't want the pump and dumps type of stuff. But ultimately, they're so massively undervalued. Litecoin and Amizigo and PPT are all going to have to make some big, big moves coming up here. But the pump and dumps, you can pretty much see, oh my God, this one coin goes up 100%. And, it's so easy to pump and dump. It's such a small market. Let's see, Bitcoin Private. I don't know much about that one, but it's over $1 billion market cap now. That's crazy. I think it's a fork of Bitcoin. I'm not going to invest in any more Bitcoin type forks. I wish them all the best, absolutely. But it's I've hit a point where I've got maybe 30 cryptos that I'm like, I've done the research on, I've done the homework, but I'm waiting for the reason I bought them to happen, the release of product and the implementation and the retail applications of Litecoin, things like that. So I'm not interested in jumping into it, because anytime you jump into another coin, you got to sell your current coin, pay the taxes, and then move on. It's like, why when you position yourself well enough, shall we say? Again, Verge, I'm not a fan. I think they made a mistake by being known as the porn coin now. There's no hedge funds that are going to buy it. Big money that, has to show their portfolio doesn't want a porn coin in their portfolio. It's just, but maybe that was the only thing Verge had, I guess. I don't know. Populous up 36% in the last 7 days. That's pretty good, although it was down so much because of all the FUD and all the bankster attacks. So Populous has a long, 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 long way to go. Let's see. Where's Veritasium? Let's talk about Veri a little bit. It's way down here. Veritasium gets more beat up than any other coin because what it's doing, what it will be doing, which is replacing the Goldman Sachs's of the world, JP Morgan's of the world, the NASDAQ, the Dow. All that stuff can be replaced by Veritasium. And that's why Veritasium gets beat up. But one day, that old system's going to crumble and die. And Veritasium's going to be standing there, and the government, according to Cliff's data, and I absolutely believe it, the governments are going to come in begging Veritasium to help solve this problem. And you're going to see Veritasium go from like $100 to $10,000 to eclipse Bitcoin, maybe even to $100,000. So yeah, I'm not going to sell Veritasium to buy some crap coin that's being pumped right now. Veritasium's time will come. Just patience is required. What is it right now? $130. I don't even look anymore. It's like it will when the system needs it most. All these coins will rise to the top. Litecoin will be used as a means of exchange when the banksters start to wobble and crash, which they are absolutely. If you believe, an Australian subscriber sent me this article on Australia is getting screwed by the banks and the financial regulators. It's all breaking out. Criminality in the housing market down there. That was in Cliff's data too. So I think this is a WebBot hit here. It says, hate to break it to you, Australia, but this country, this is an Australian article, this country has been totally fooled by government and our financial regulators over the years. Any government minister or member of one of the regulators who claimed that all was sweet as pie in the lucky country's banking systems prior to the Hancock Royal Commission should take a long, hard look at the impacts of millions of Australian households may feel as the sector remakes its business model with potentially devastating consequences for the economy. As some of us have long been arguing, the people responsible for regulating the financial industry have failed, going all the way through ASPIC, APRA, and members of government, and it is this regulatory capture, a term to describe when watchdogs are effectively controlled by the industry they are supposed to be monitoring, that was the reason the Royal Commission into the banks took so long to be established. This is because highly paid regulators inside knew that a lot of dodgy stuff was going on but failed to say anything. And they tried to to the end to prevent all misconduct from coming out to the public domain. Absolutely. And the same exact thing is going on right here. Silver today down 42 cents to 1666. Anybody who can't see, any regulator that can't see that silver is being manipulated and has been manipulated belongs in jail. Therefore, Mr. Chris Giancarlo, the guy who is supposed to be this upstanding frickin' citizen, is allowing the same crap to go on in silver. I feel so bad for the silver holders. I'm a silver holder, but I don't watch it anymore because cryptos are breaking free of that old criminal regime. But Chris Giancarlo did nothing. He's doing nothing to save the silver holders. This is, if I was a silver advocate, big time, fighting the fight that I thought I could win, for which I was for 15 years, I would yell at everybody, write this guy Chris Giancarlo, and say, you were supposed to fucking save the silver market. You were our only hope, just like Bart Chilton was our only hope. And you do nothing. It's blatant, in-your-face manipulation, and you do nothing. And if you want to learn about the silver market, Chris Giancarlo, give Ted Butler a call. He'll explain how it all works. Now, why only one regulator ever called Ted Butler, and that was what was his name? I didn't like him either. I forgot his name. But the CFTC actually called Ted Butler in, and the head of the commission came in and actually talked to Ted Butler, or just said hi, while his guys were trying to learn from Ted Butler what manipulation is. Chris Giancarlo needs to sit down with Ted Butler for a weekend and hash this all out so that Ted can explain to Chris how the game of manipulation works. So anybody who's a silver investor who's interested in freeing the silver markets from manipulation, call Chris Giancarlo and demand that he meets with Ted Butler. And you won't have this crap. Remember, everyone's like all excited because the shorts were gone, and now all this means is the criminals are right back at it. It's a bummer. It's a bummer, but all right, let's go to this. Eric Peters, this is from Zero Hedge. China's best play is to let the U.S. stock market crash. I think everybody's best play is to let the U.S. stock market crash, especially the U.S. We are the largest debtor nation on planet Earth. So you let the stock market crash, all that debt goes away. The whole system melts down. The derivative market goes sideways. And then we start fresh. No more debt. Wouldn't that be great? No more debt. No more personal debt. No more government debt. No debt at all. And then we have the cryptos take over. I'm just saying. If you want to know what's the best interest for humanity is to get rid of all the debt, and you get rid of all the debt by getting rid of the old system. All right, as excerpted from latest weekend notes from One River CIO Eric Peters, quote, China's best play is to let the U.S. stock market crash, said the CIO. Trump is right. They can't win a trade war, so they won't try. But Z can consolidate if things get rough in terms of markets. But for Trump, it is the opposite. The U.S. is far more exposed to a bear market unless you crash the entire thing. A little hiccup in the market, yeah, that sucks for the U.S. A total crash, and all the debt goes away. Quote, and just like U.S. debt ceiling standoffs or just about any political standoff for that matter, the game is that things always have to get worse before they get better. And he sighed deeply. But I truly hate having to trade by playing game theory. It's just an awful way to live your life. I like to do the kind of analysis that involves looking at one group of companies that are starting to make money. And then from that observation, I can make reasoned forecasts about how their improving fortunes will impact others and so on and so forth. That's the wrong way to look at everything. You got to look at it from the standpoint of everything's rigged. Every market, every commodity, every price of everything is rigged. I like the kind of analysis that captures the actions of tens of thousands or millions of people, he sighed. But now we're just trading late night tweets. Absolutely. But we always have been. It's always been a fraud. There's been no true markets probably since the invention of the Federal Reserve System in 1913. And the reason the Federal Reserve System was started was because they found massive amounts of gold in the Grand Canyon. Nobody talks about it. Nobody's allowed to talk about it. We will see what happens when the truth is revealed. I think the truth will be revealed when you let this criminal market crash. Yes, the U.S. stock market needs to crash. And then we can reveal all the secrets. That they've been rigging it every day since the day computers were invented. So Alan Greenspan invented the first financial computers. The very first ones, and he was a computer expert all through that time. In his book, The Age of Turbulence, he blames himself for Y2K. He's the guy who did the programming, I think it was in Fortran, of the 2 digits for the year instead of the 4 digits. Those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, go to roadtoroota.com. It's right there in the very front. Let's take a look. The very home page, roadtoroota.com. Introduction to Ruta, right there. Talks about all the secrets you need to know. And then you want to hear about the gold? Listen to my speech I gave at the Anarchapulco conference. Right there, the second thing. And then all kinds of things. Hidden meanings in the new $100 bill. Go to roadtoroota.com if you don't know what I'm talking about. And for you private room members, right here is the Satoshi remote viewing. Really, really cool stuff. Beyond cool. And this is today's Friday Road Trip. Anyway, that's kind of my update for today. Keep an eye on the cryptos. Is it too late to buy into Bitcoin Cash? No, not at all. I think they'll go one to one. Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash will go 1-to-1, and they'll both go up. But in the case of Bitcoin Cash, it's going to go up a higher percentage. But they're all going to be lagging Litecoin. Litecoin, Veritasium, PPT, and Amizigo. I'd say those are your biggies. Definitely, though, I would suggest that everybody have the largest holding be Litecoin as a means of exchange. Because when the banks go down, everybody's going to be turning to Litecoin, in my opinion. So we will see. This is Big Square, roadtoroota.com. I'll talk to you guys later.